Klaus Anal Slob went to the doctors and he said, "I'm getting very worried because I have feelings for people. I'm worried about people eating all the crickets and the insects. And oh, what's going on? I have sleepless nights. I got a conscience." The doctor said, "Well, this is very serious because you're the #1 psychopath, and to have feelings for people is really terrible." Well, he said, "I think the only thing you can do," he said, "is look, take this medicine," he said, "and come back after about a week and see if it's cured you." So, "Okay, I'll do that." See, so he clears off, takes the medicine. About a week later, he comes back to the doctor. He says, "Oh," he said, "I feel so much better now. I just want to wipe out most of the population. I want to people to eat more and more of these bugs and crickets and things, and I've got no conscience whatsoever." He said, "Incredible medicine, doctor." He said, "But the only trouble," he said, "it smelled like and looked like and tastes like shit." The doctor said it was shit. He said, "You just needed topping up a bit, that's all." Good evening and welcome to another exciting show. Now tonight we're going to break away from the new normal format. It's an open house show. So after I've done my little monologue at the beginning, there's several mystery guests queuing up to come on the show. And it's going to be quite exciting because I don't know who's going to come on and who isn't going to come on. But at the moment it's just me, and of course our star of the show so far is Fred the spider plant. Evening, Fred. No reply yet. But as I say, welcome, and thanks for joining me. Now we've got a heck of a lot in chat, which is brilliant, and they're all queuing up. But first of all, we got some healing to be done and this is somehow on the sort of format of this show, because we're talking about perception. Now, we often had Dr. Miles Fleetwood on the show talking about natural health, etc. Well, unfortunately, he has broken his wrist, and it's his writing hand the wrist that he's broken. So it's very, very difficult. So he healed countless hundreds, thousands, who knows, people. It's time for us to heal him. So let's have some nice tinkly music and let's think about healing Dr. Miles Fleetwood of Abbey Health. So here he comes. Think of his wrist being nicely healed. Yeah. And it makes a difference. So let's hope it makes a difference, because people have remarked that when we do this healing, little bit of healing there, some people that have not actually tuned into the program said at that time they felt better. So, well, I'll just quickly show you, where was it? Oh, I've got the wrong thing here. Here we are. Now it's Abbey Health. Where is it now? Here it is. There's the shop. So just think of Miles in there. He was actually on the show, and think of his wrist being healed. The shop is still open. It's okay. I mean, you can see people there, and I think he can still do acupuncture, but he has problem obviously with writing because it's his right hand. So let's wish him well. Now, perception. And as I say, after about half an hour or so, we're hopefully going to have not only one, but probably several guests coming on the show. Hope it works. So again, a new format. Now, how we perceive things in life is actually like our roadmap. And well, first of all, I'm going to show an example of perception. Now, this mug was bought for me by someone called Torna. She used to come on the show. Sadly, she is no longer with us. She passed away around about 3 years ago now, I believe. And I
you know, I think a lot of this mug because she bought it for my birthday. Now, I can ask everybody, does this or does this not have a handle on it? Does it? I don't. Now, I know the answer to you. Now, you could be pontificating about this. And if I said it wasn't a mug, you might look at it, say, from the edge there, and you might think, well, perhaps it's some sort of ladle or something, or perhaps it's a flower pot. You don't know. But if I turn it around, then you get a different perception. Yes, it's definitely a mug. But from that angle, or even say that angle, you could think it's a flower pot. Or if I covered all that up, you could say, well, yes, it is a flower pot. Definitely, because you've got the white there. But no, it isn't. And it's as things reveal themselves to you that you have a different perception of them. And as we get older, we sort of have a different perception of things. Now, I'm a great sort of enthusiast of Bob Proctor. Now, Bob Proctor, if you look him up on YouTube, he did a lot of videos where he was really talking about the law of attraction and like attracting like. And I believe that the system that we've got, where we've got some very nasty people in power, I think they can be got rid of by thought alone, because we have the most powerful computers in the world. Not necessarily me, but it's our brains. And it's surprising how powerful thought can be. Because, for example, look at Japan. Now, Japan, uh, before World War II, became very militaristic. And the Japanese army was known for being absolutely ruthless. And it was partly because of their training, but partly because of the brainwashing that the people had for years and years and years. But if you went to Japan now, you would find very kind, very gentle, and very nice people. And there were very kind and very gentle and nice people in Japan before and during the war. Not everybody was like that. And it's the same with all countries. You know, you've got your evil ones and the nice ones and the bad ones. But is this kind of like attracting like? Violence attracts violence, peace attracts peace. Anyway, before I go any further, I'll have a quick look in the chat room. So it's really piling up here tonight. And, oh, I pressed the wrong button here. Here we go. And tonight, Bob was beaten. Bob is normally the first one in the chat room, but it wasn't. It's DJ Flipped, FLIPD. And it says, good evening, Chris and co. I'm looking forward to another exciting show. So am I. I hope it starts soon. I'll be watching on Christmas Day as well. I'll be on my own here, so that'll cheer me up no end. Well, I hope so, because there's a lot of us on our own. I'm on my own on Christmas Day, and I'm broadcasting. It happens to be a Monday, so you know. And we've got Louise Wilcox. Hello, Louise. Way. There's somebody that lives near you that might be on a little bit later. You never know. And then we've got Aunt Sally. Hello, Aunt Sally. And we've got, oh, by the way, Aunt Sally, thank you very much for posting some information, because, you know, I've got two, shall we say, what do they call them on Facebook now? It's, I've got Fockham Hall, which is a group. That's it, groups. Got Fockham Hall, and I've got Eric Von Essex. And Aunt Sally kindly posts a few things on Eric Von Essex, and I accidentally overlooked it. But don't tell her that, will you? You know, just yeah. But no. And thank you very much for posting on Eric Von Essex as well as Fockham Hall. But Fockham Hall has quite a large membership, and I generally, people say, oh, I haven't seen you on Facebook. Well, no, because I only post within the group. And the only time I post outside the group is when promoting this show. And then, of course, we've got Chris the Gardener, who might be on. You never know. You never know these things. Evening all. Stephen Truth Seeker. Hello. And, of course, we've got Stig in New Zealand. So, good day, mate. No, that's a bit Australian, isn't it? Good day, mate. I mean, what do you say in New Zealand? Good evening, or... And his accent is... Oh, thank you very much. Klaus Swarm, yes. Oh, thank you. Nice pajamas. It's my shirt, actually. It's a lumberjack shirt. You know, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. It's a padded one, which I got years ago, and I thought I might as well get it. You know, the moths are letting get out of it, so I thought I might as well put this on. But and evening, Fred the plant. That's right. And by the way, Chris, you've got Fred's babies because you know that plants give birth. They're what do they call it? Oh, I don't know. There's a certain word for it. I've forgotten it. But anyway, they can either be male or female. So you've got 4 of Fred's babies. So there we go. So Fred's a happy father there. And we got Ralph Winter. Evening, folks. Cat Holly. Hello, Cat. Thank you very much for all your posts as well. And we've got evening, Chris. Look forward to the show. So do I. I don't know what's on. Now, it's got here. I've been told plants have feelings. It was all in a book or two. Yes, that's right. I think it was in the book Supernature that was published in the 1970s. And the fellow that wrote it, I think he died recently, actually. And that was the one that told you about pyramids and things like that, you know. Now, we've got King of England talks to his plants. Oh, Charles, yes, one feels that one must talk to one's plants, mustn't one? Yes, that's it, yes. And he's not my king, mate. No, ain't mine either. And same with Stephen Truth Seeker. And then we've got, hello, Nathaniel Lysias. Hiya, mate. Hi, chat. Yes, he's, you never know. You might see him around as well. Who knows? This is a mystery show. Now, we got here, all 4 doing well. I'll send a picture for Fred. Oh, thanks, Chris. That's great. Because actually what I did, I've got, you know, that spider plants have like little babies coming off of them, for the want of a better word. And what happened is I cut them off in their stride, put a bit of wet paper around them, shoved them into a plastic envelope that wouldn't leak, and then ran down a post office and posted them off. And Chris got them the next day, and they survived. They survived the post. So, well, I didn't realize. I mean, I thought it might be 50-50, but they actually survived it. So that's brilliant. I think all 4 did, you know. And Ali Bev says, yes, I would agree with you there. Yes. Well, did you know that Charlie Boy owns, you know, the Duchy of Cornwall? If someone croaks it in Cornwall and doesn't have a family and doesn't leave a will, Charlie Boy gets their house free of charge. Nice money if you can get it in it. So, I mean, how can people like that walk around and see poverty-stricken people and just not have, you know, that kind of empathy for anybody? It just is beyond me, you know, living in a life of luxury. And I always believe that money should be like liquid. You pass it on to people. And this is going back to this paradigm shift idea and perception. You see, I tried my hardest to do. Now, I did a show on it all about a year ago about what Bob Proctor says. And that is, we got our conscious and our subconscious. And our subconscious is programmed when we're very, very young. And you've got to sometimes reprogram our subconscious. I don't really want to go fully into it. But what they actually say is that if you want something, say, I don't know, say I didn't have a mug and I wanted a mug like this, okay? I would picture in my mind a mug like this, or a mug like me, you never know, and write it down on a piece of paper, and then you keep looking at that piece of paper, and you make out to your subconscious that you've already got the mug. So you've already got it, even though you haven't got it, and by something out of the ether, you will get a mug. Now, I've found that it's very odd, this law of attraction. And there's somebody I know that said, be careful for what you wish for, because what he wished for went tits up. So you've got to be very, very careful what you wish for. And I think everybody's different. Now, I find if I write something down, for example, I find it difficult to read off the internet. I've got to have it in black and white on a piece of paper to read. So I'm a bit old fashioned like that, for it to inwardly digest anything like that. And even though I've earned a living from using my imagination, because with design work and things like that, if you've got to redesign something, I like to believe, I think, just for others to say, that I think outside the box. So if there's a staircase that needs to be redesigned, I think outside the box and redesign it, and I can actually see the finished product in my mind as I'm redesigning it. And I like making stuff and things like that. And when I'm making something, I can see the finished result as I'm doing it in my imagination. And that's how most things, this is how Henry Ford, people invent things and things like that. But when it comes to other things, it doesn't seem to work with me. And I've been looking into this thing of, people try and make lots of money and things like that. Well, my attitude is finding happiness. That is the most important thing in life. And when you've got happiness, spread it. Spread it like manure. I mean, my aim in life is to make people laugh. And sometimes I fail and sometimes I succeed. And I don't give a damn whether they're laughing at me or with me, providing they're laughing, because laughter is the finest medicine unless you've got diarrhea. But that's another question. But really, when you think about it, we give out an energy. We give out positive things and negative things. And when there's, like neighbours, and there's all different people that you meet. When you see people along the road, it's surprising how quickly you can sum them up. You can tell the people that are basically ill because they want to be ill. Sounds a bit weird. There's people that's ill, obviously the majority are ill because they don't want to be ill. But when you think about it, when you're down, you're attracting negativity. But when you're happy, you hope to export it. I mean, you go into, say, somewhere where someone's cracking gags, and the whole atmosphere rises. And people that are in pain or got illnesses and things like that, they forget about their illnesses, because at that point, the energy has risen. It's a positive energy. So that's the way I look on things. And I think that this is how we're going to win in this situation with these, excuse my language, arseholes that are actually ruining the country. We just think of a positive thing and the way we want to go. And I found that when you look at people and I'm being rude or anything like that, but when you look at a lot of the so-called truth groups and that, there's a lot of negative energy amongst them, very negative. They seem to enjoy wallowing in negativity, but not really doing anything about it. And the last thing they want is someone coming around, laughing and joking and cracking gags and trying to cheer everyone up. Because if you want to go forward in life, you've got to laugh. You've got to bounce off. Let the negative bounce off. And there was a very famous record long before I was born called, what was it? Boot out the negative, or was it Don't Stay with Mr. In Between, wasn't it? So you draw in the positive, boot out the negative, and don't stay with Mr. In Between. Well, that's my philosophy of life. We always get down. I mean, bloody hell, this weather this last couple of days has been bloody awful. It's been taters around here, really cold. And but anyway, let's have a quick shufty back in chat. Now we've got here, Louise says Charles gets people's houses in Cornwall. Charles always talks as if he's constipated, doesn't he? The Crown Corporation is allowed to take all houses back and land they sit on because It's registered to the Crown Corporation. Check your deeds. Yes, and apparently in the 1930s, I believe it was, and you can check this out. I think that you had to pay a tax. They stopped it, I think, in the mid to late 30s. I don't know, because I wasn't here at that time. That you had to pay a tax to the Queen, and nobody actually owned the land that their house was on. It was all Crown property, but they changed it. But did you know that the Queen, or sorry, Charlie Boy now, Canadians only own 1 foot of soil beneath them, and beneath that belongs to the Crown. So if they strike oil or gold or anything like that, or diamonds or you name it, Charlie Boy has a bit of the old, again, nice bit of money in it, nice bit of dosh there. And yes, that is something people don't really realise. But then it goes back to 1066 and the Norman conquest, because the Normans basically stole everything from the English, and the English became slaves to the Normans. And that's why when you look at all these very rich people in their manor houses, most of them look very Norman-like because their ancestors were Normans and they literally stole everything. And after the Battle of Hastings, the bodies of the English who fought against the Normans were left for over 100 years. The skeletons, they didn't bury them. So, and serfdom came in, tax came in. Tax was unheard of in this country before the 1066. And of course, the Domesday Book was basically an inventory of all the stuff that they could nick. So it had all been half-inched. So that's why there's a big difference between English and British, because the British are the Normans and the royals and the aristocracy, and the English, Scotch, Welsh and Irish, Northern Irish or Irish, we are sort of indigenous tribes. But if someone says to me, you're British, no, I'm not British, I'm English, because I'm not a royal and I'm nothing to do with the, although I could be with Fockham Hall, which is the smallest country in the world, because I could actually give myself an earldom or something like that, you know. Why not? Anybody can be anything with Fockham Hall, because it doesn't matter where you are, you can declare where you are as a territory of Fockham Hall. So there you go, you could be anywhere in the world. You could be in the middle of the Australian desert, and you could say, I claim this portion of land round me as Fockham Hall, or you could be up in a tower block flat and you could claim that as Fockham Hall. So there we go. Yes. Anyway, going back, we got hello as old. We got a new one. We got hello, Mel Walters. Hello. Hi, Chris. Our group, Truth Seekers North, is full of positive people. Well, up north, I think people are more positive and they're more friendly. And a miserable lot of sods down here. No, seriously. There is a big difference between up north and down south, because I live in a semi-rural area, and when you go for a walk, it's I would say 75% of people will walk straight past you without saying good morning or good afternoon. About 25% you might get, you know, the nod good day or something like that. The further you go into the country, yes, but the further north, south, east and west you go, I think it's something to do with home counties. I think maybe it's to do with population. You're less populated up north, but I think it varies from area to area. And I have heard this, you know, up north, but there are a lot of groups that have been infiltrated without really realizing it, because the infiltration is very, very skillful. But lovely to hear from you. How do I pronounce your first? Is it Mau Walters? But thank you very much for coming on. It's nice to have people. I know you're often on in the chat room, and this is Chris the Gardener in Canada. You are a land holder, as you said, Chris. All land belongs to the Crown. That's right. I'm not too sure about Australia. I think that might be the same, although I don't know. But so if there's anybody from Australia and New Zealand, so stick, you know, jump up and, you know, or dig a hole in the ground and say, right, I'm going to nick this back from Charlie Boy, you know. And thanks, Dan. Well said. Yes, that's right. Yes. There's a lot of people that detest the British but love the English. Big difference. I mean, I don't try and distance myself from atrocities that happen in the world, but most of the atrocities that have been done in the name of the English has actually been masterminded by the British, and that is the aristocracy. I mean, you look at the First World War. Who was ordering those poor sods over the top from the trenches across the battlefields getting killed? It was British generals who didn't have a bleeding clue, and they were aristocracy. But I'm not saying all aristocracy is bad, because there are, like everything else, good and bad in all sections of society. And I know there's some members of the aristocracy who are very caring and very nice people. And there's one, for example, that I've got a lot of thought for. I can't remember his name. His name was Chris, I think. And he's against all this climate crap. And he's gone into it scientifically and that. So, you know, very nice person. So there, you know, but now Stephen Truth says he's the Count. Yeah, be careful how you spell that, of La La Land. Yes, because I know somebody that used to do signage outside cinemas and was fired after the Count of Monte Cristo was being filmed there. Think about it. Yes. Anyway, and thank you very much, Chris. Hit the like button, peeps. It helps Chris. Oh, it's ever so kind of you. And I also like to say thank you to Caroline, because Caroline bought me a coffee. Isn't that kind of her? And it was such a surprise. The next day, you know, I logged on, because it's always a bit tension after the show, because you can't record the show until about 12 hours afterwards. It's got to go through YouTube censorship and all their analytics and things like that. So you think, ooh, you know, and remember, I'm on probation until the end of December. So if I say anything naughty, they could take the whole station down. So I've got to be really careful. I can't say tit or bum or anything like that. And I was sort of waiting for the old, you know, to get the clearance. And it's about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock next morning I can record it. And got this come through on the email. So thanks, Caroline. It cheered me up. It's much appreciated, you know. So, and I like to say thank you to everybody that's bought me a cup of coffee. Details, no, not in my crutch. They're down in the description underneath here. And lots of people have asked me, how do they get onto my YouTube channel? It's really not YouTube channel. What do I call it? BitChute channel. BitChute, Rumble. No, it's indigestion. Rumble and Odyssey. How do they get onto it? Just look down here in the description, and there's a link to it. And there's also a link to Fockham Hall radio.com, which is the, shall we say, the central website for Fockham Hall. So if you want to know news of Fockham Hall, you look on there, you see. Now, it says here, it's Maureen, isn't it? That's what it's Maureen. It's what it's short for. Yes, that's right. Yes, the pennies just dropped. You must excuse me. I'm not quite with it most of the time, you know. That's right. My name is Maureen. Of course it is. You're a friend of John Hamer, and he's coming back soon. But we're going to record shows and put them on BitChute. Again, links below in the comments section. Not comments, a description section. So just look at the description down below here. And we're going to do some recording. And he's hoping to do a show about electric cars, because we all like electric cars, don't we? I don't think. Yes. You know, what I call mobile bonfires. I think when you think about it, whenever people years ago made a bonfire, it was static, wasn't it? Now, don't you think it's a brilliant invention to have a bonfire that you can move anywhere you want? So, you know, if you've got, well, we pass Guy Fawkes now, but, you know, if you want a nice bonfire, you just say, oh, I've got an electric car. I'll come along and just park it up and Now, it says here, Sean Hamer, no relation to John Hamer, and we cannot own the earth just like the dog cannot own the hole it digs. Correct there, yes. Now, we got an interesting one here. Maureen says, my daughter Dawn's new book is How to Manifest a Life of Pleasure. Oh, send us details. We'll plug it like anything. So come on, Maureen, let's plug the book. You might want to have her on the show. Why not? Why not? The more the merrier. Because I'm looking up the guests. Robert hasn't been on. People ask about Robert. Robert hasn't been on because he's busy doing that nasty four-letter word, work, W-O-R-K. Poor sod's working all hours. So, you know, he works when the work is there, like myself. So, you know, when the work's there, it's either all or none. So there we go. Now, we've got here, Suko, electric cars, what are those? I would call them milk floats, basically. You know, the old milk floats? Yeah. And I was walking across the car park at Home Base the other day and almost got bleeding knocked over by one. And it's, well, you know, when you're on a bike, because as I've said many times before, I love driving, I love cars, but also like two modes of transport, bikes, push bikes and cars. It's funny, it's the two opposite extremes, isn't it? But I never carry my bikes on my car. I will not put them with them on the bloody roof or anything like that. And when you're cycling, you know, you've got to use your ears as well as everything else, because you instinctively know when a bus is coming up behind you or anything's coming up behind you. And, you know, oh, but with an electric car, you don't know until the bleeding thing's passing you. And it's very disconcerting. And when you think of all that EMF that's coming off of them, electromagnetism, which is what we're going to go on to next. So, oh, and Maureen says it's on Amazon and Kindle. So hang on, I'll get back to you again. So I just repeat that. So my daughter Dawn's new book is How to Manifest a Life of Pleasure. You might want to have her on your show. Yes, please. Yes. You can have daughter and mum if you want on your show. Go, hello, you know. And it's on, here we go. It's on Amazon and Kindle. That's it. And for the advert, I charge 3 photo bobs. How's that? You see, so you go on the and it's 3 photo bobs. But well, I'll do it as a favour. I do it for 5 photo bobs. All right, you know. Right. Now, what's this? Sounds like New Age gloss. What? My painting here, is it? Oh, well, I see. Okay. And oh, I like this one. Shoddy noddy cars. Yes, that's right. Shoddy noddy cars. They reckon that the paintwork's crap on them as well. If you, who's that bloke now? He says rev up your autos. He's a mechanic in America. He reckons the paintwork is a bit naff on them. So there we go. Now we got here. Yes. Electric cars are soulless. Yes, you're right. Yes. And now Maureen has said, look forward to being on your show. Well, I look forward to you coming on the show. And afterwards, if you'd like to drop us an email, please do. Now, you can find my email address on my website, which is Fockham Hall Radio. In fact, my email address, I can have it coming across a banner at the bottom here. Where is it now? I've lost it. Yes, it's oh, here it is. Here it is. So drop us a line. And there you go. Or you can contact me on Telegram or Facebook or ask about Facebook. Who knows? But there we are. But the Telegram channel is really booming at the moment. So it's looking good all the way round. So there we go. And of course we've got I just get hooked. Electric funeral. Yes, it is. And when you think about it, all that electromagnetism giving off, which is part, I'll jump a little bit because, oh, hang on, it's Robert. Good evening, all. Chris should resurrect Evergreen Radio. Oh, that's very kind. Excellent listening. Yes, that is a blast from the past. That really is going back. That is crumbs. It's going back about 10 years. But as I say, sent you a link, Robert, because remember, this is an open house after about now. So we're going on to, as I say, this idea of manifestation. And I'm looking at the idea of manifesting things for other people, because I've found that I think there's only a mind, there's some people that can do it, but you've got to do it in a way that suits you. And oh, great, you just sent your email address, Maureen. Thank you very much. I've got the ding ding on the phone, so we're all right there. So how did you do it? Did you do it through where is it? Was it? Oh, you done it through Telegram. Excellent. That's good. Still at, and Robert said it's still at work. The luxury servitude in London's Mayfair. Ah, that's interesting. Then we got here. Oh, we got Deb. Evening all. On with dinner, so can't stop. Yes, could I have a Yorkshire pudding with my one, please? And just popping in to remind you to hit the like button. That's very, very kind. Thanks, Deb. Just the way you've built your favourite politician. Have a great evening. Hope to see you all soon. So do I. Yes, we miss you, Deb. And we're getting positive thoughts for you, Deb, as well. So we want all positive, nice thoughts. Here we go. And now it says here, Louise Wilcox says, I've had a massive wake up this afternoon. Sorry, this is Hatchie. It says, met a ram goat beating its head against the barn door buds. Got frightened on him. One of the few places I can get proper milk. Yes. The trouble is, if you accidentally try and milk a billy goat, you soon know it, don't you? Yes, you know. Now, Maureen said, I've sent you my email and phone number. I am honoured, dear, you know. And I do hope it's addressed correctly to His Royal Highness Eric von Essex of Fogham Hall, because you know I am a professional bullshitter. So you got, and that's something I'm writing. I'm actually writing a book about bullshit, because I think that really, if you want to look up words, how to spell, you look up a dictionary. If you want to look up different meanings or different ways of expressing words, you look up thesaurus. But and then you look up encyclopedias to find out information. But there's no kind of dictionary or encyclopedia for bullshit, is there? So this is what I'm hoping to do: the world's first encyclopedia of bullshit, because I think bullshit makes the world go round, and it's a subject that is fascinating, you know. And I think that my attitude is you should look upon it as an art form. So you go, so someone's bullshitting you, you go, yes, and look at it like an art critic, you know, go, yes, because you think someone is going to all that effort to put an artistic display on for you. So at least you could sort of appreciate it by going, yes, yes, you know. But right. Now, we got here. Oh, this is good. This is a nice one. It says here, hi, Deb. This is Baby with a Laser. I have a great recent ghost tale for you when you're ready. Oh, yes. And I've got one of Old Ned. This is an interesting one. An old Ned. Yes. Shall I spoil it and tell you now? Because it's really out of concept, isn't it? Really, you know, we're talking about how we perceive things, fear, and hang on, I made some notes here. Mood, and of course paradigm shift. Because I think once you dispense fear, because when you look at it, you go into these. I'm trying to say a word that will not be captured by the algorithms. Places that you're ill in, places where people get the, you know, it's full of doom and gloom posters. I mean, I remember when I took my parents, when my parents were ailing, and I'm going back a few years now, when they were ill, I used to wheel them down to the quacks, and it was like that the hall of horrors, you know. Have you got a bad cough? You could be suffering from this. You know, do you realize that if you've got an itchy kneecap, your leg could fall off? Exactly like that. And there's a new disease around that, oh, I said the wrong word there. I hope it gets past the algorithms. That, you know, what happens is your naughty bits fall off, and when you bend down to pick them up, your eyeballs fall out. You know, all that sort of nice, jolly stuff. So if some poor sod's feeling really Tom and Dick, you know, really sick, they'll sit down and read all that. They make him feel even worse. But you go into Miles's place, there's none of those posters, because he's a proper, the way I look on it, he's a proper, and he knows his stuff. And it's a nice, pleasant, nice, happy atmosphere. There we go. So now, has anybody got a good story about gnomes? Yes, I have. It's a true story about gnomes. Okay, do you want to hear it? Yes, all right then. It's a bit boring, so I'll go and make a cup of tea because I've heard it before. I'm bored with it. During World War II, sorry, I'm sounding a bit like Uncle Albert here, but my father was, as I said before, many thousand times before, he was in the frontline intelligence, and he had a radio set on his back, and they used to take it in turns because they had to go ahead of the main battlefront sometimes behind enemy lines, and they had a very high casualty rate. Anyway, on with the story. They wanted a call sign, and they wanted it to be several syllables, and sometimes they had waterfall because they knew that if the Germans tried to interpret it, they couldn't pronounce their V's and W's very well, so they had to say waterfall, you know, oh, off they go, you see. But some bright spark who was quite intelligent, I think he's a university bloke, said, why not gnome? And everybody laughed. Gnome? That's not several syllables. Genomy. I said, that's a bloody brilliant idea. So the call sign was Genomy. So they'd wander around going, Genomy, 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 Genomy. And of course, somebody at the other end would say, oh, that's, you know, that is the 231 Brigade, sort of, their call sign. Anyway, time went on, and they captured a senior German officer, and most of them could speak German. And they said to this chap, they said, you know, he's talking, he had a bit of a sense of humour, this fellow, and he said, please, 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 can you put me out of my misery? He said, what's that? He said, what is that bloody word, Genomy? And apparently they've went to all the senior code crackers in Berlin, and they couldn't crack it. They didn't know what it was. And when they explained it, it couldn't stop laughing. They said, it's gnome. Gnomes come from Germany. And he was crying. Oh, I wouldn't say crying with laughter, but he was crazed up. He said, you wouldn't believe the amount of problems that word has created. So it's a little bit of story about gnomes. And of course, I've got two gnomes in my garden. They're concrete ones called, well, I call them all kinds of names, especially when I trip over them. But they were government ones because I used to work for the gnome office. Sorry, that's a terrible one, isn't it? Now, what we got here? Baby with a laser. Chris, do you remember years ago you could get little calling cards that said, I'm somewhat of a bullshitter myself, but occasionally like to listen to a professional. Please carry on. Yes, my uncle used to use them. Yes, that's right. Yes. And I think that's, I actually call it bullshitology. You see, because again, you got to look at MPs. They're bloody brilliant at it, aren't they? I mean, you got to admire the skill, you know, and especially, I mean, I'm splitting it up into, I mean, you've got the tits. Now, the tits in politics are the ones that are goofy gits, and they sort of, when they're at the conference, they start singing, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that yes, bullshitology. I think I'd actually class myself as a bullshitologist. You see, the study of bullshit, and I wonder if you could probably get a degree in it. Because as I've often said, the Fockham Hall Times, that's the which you can see on the website, of course. I'll just show you the website. Here it comes. Where is it now? Here we are. It's fockhamhallradio.com. It's got award-winning journalism. And do you know who gave me the award? I did. And I'm not a journalist. Well, let's face it. The bigwigs like to show off. And they're obsessed with awards. I mean, Klaus Slob, Adel Slob, he actually has got loads of awards. Look at Tony. Hey, hello. Yes, he's always receiving these lovely sort of is that lovely awards. Now why isn't there a award for bullshitting? There should be. That man should receive a award for bullshit. I'd really be bleeding proud of it. Hey, yes, look, my award for bullshit. Because bullshit, you know what it actually is. I actually describe it. It's artificial truth with an expiry date. And the better the bullshit, the longer the expiry date. So when you think about it, when you hear about the bullshit of the First and Second World Wars, that was very good bullshit because the expiry date is just beginning to expire now, isn't it? So you think about it, truth always comes through in the end. So there we go. Now we've got here, hang on, we've got a message from Deb. Here we go. It says, just before I have to go, I went before the show actually. What does everyone think of them pushing the yes, the American roof tile thingamabob? We've never had that before. Hidden agenda. I'll catch up later. Love you and leave you. Take care. Okay, see you, Deb. Thanks. Yes, we've got to be a bit careful. Yes, American roof tiles we call it, shall we? Because that's what they call roof tiles, and that's what I've got on my shed as well. Yes, they are pushing that a bit, aren't they? Yes, and also animals becoming Tom and Dick as well. They're really obsessed with Tom and Dick animals. Now it says here, some gnomes are real. Well, Hugh Dowding, who was head of fighter command during World War II, he believed in fairies. And he actually started an organisation. And he believed that fairies were necessary for pollinating the plants. And why not? Isn't that a nice thing to think of? Because I won't bore you with it. But many years ago, I heard fairy music. I'm positive I know what I heard. And this was around about between Christmas and New Year. I was driving, and I remember where it was now. It's up near Ashwell, which in Ashwell and Morden it's near the A505, and Hallow up in Cambridgeshire. And I heard fairy music. I know what I heard. And we've got a mystery guest coming on the show. It is Mr. Garner. Hello, mate. How you going?
Hello, mate. How are you?
Oh, mustn't grumble. I could do if you got 3 hours to spare. Oh, like a pain in me leg.
What was that about negativity and spreading positive vibes?
I know. My old troubles come back. You know what that is?
What's that?
Baldness. I don't know quite what it is. Do you reckon it's rub cow shit in the air or something?
I think you're probably cursed with it, mate, for life. I just accept it and go out gracefully, mate. Or cover it with a hat. That's my take. Cover it with a hat.
That's what I
do with baldness.
Yes. They call it mal-pattern baldness. It's not a bleeding pattern. It's just go and that's it.
Hey, just an old bald git. That's what it is.
Yeah, an old bald git. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I got used to it.
Bartley's really desperate to just say hello. So
hello, Bartley.
There he is. Look.
Hello, Bartley.
Yeah, he's very keen for some reason to be featured tonight. I don't know why. He's strapping. Right. He's gone back onto his bed now. But
you haven't had any postmen around where you live, I suppose, to feed him a leg occasionally, have you? Or?
No. I've told you before, mate. Our postman's a proper chap, so he's very much aware is our postman. He's a lovely bloke. We've had some lovely chats, mate. He's the one I told you that likes to throw a hand grenade into the village Facebook group and then just retreat and watch everybody fight and argue. Yeah, he's a top man, mate. He's hilarious. He tells me these stories, recounts these tales of how he's caused carnage, and just literally just tosses a hand grenade in and then just watches everybody fight over it.
It's nice, all the backbiting and things like that.
Yeah.
Is it a bit of a, well, I think she's having an affair with him sort of place?
I don't know, because I have nothing to do with any of it, mate. Like I've said to you before, there is a Facebook profile for me out there. It would be 5 years, I think, at least, since I put anything on there. So, yeah. I couldn't even tell you how to get into it now, mate. I can't even remember the password.
Well, I think that... I mean, I use Facebook basically to advertise this show.
Yeah,
and have a group, and that's it. I mean, that's the only time I go out of the group that I always post in the group. The only time I go out of the group is when I promote this show, and also on Telegram as well. But
mate, we've said before, haven't we? Use it to your advantage. Same with Screw YouTube. Use it to your advantage, mate. There's going to come a point, mate, where they seem to be going through your back catalogue at the moment, don't they?
Well, I'll tell you something else. Somebody suggested something, and I don't like sort of hammering on about this, but somebody said it seems like someone's got a vendetta out against you, because it's very weird. I've had 11 videos taken down by YouTube. I've had 3 bans. On Telegram, I can't post outside my own. I can post to individuals, but I can't post to any other group apart from my own. I've been banned from doing that, but I won't say why. And it seems a bit weird.
I've got a theory, mate, if you're interested. Well, I think that they're probably a lot far ahead in terms of this social credit thing than what we think that they are.
Yeah.
We've whatever you've done online, mate, for however long you've been online, they know about it. There's no doubt that we've all got an online profile by the powers that ought not to be. I don't think you can dispute that. I think if you've done enough, we know about things like the NSA and GCHQ. And again, what we know is that they've been intercepting communications for a long, long time. And I'm pretty sure they've got a little profile for all of us, mate. And, sort of kind of probably quite more nearer to the truth than probably meant in jest, but yeah, probably.
That's right. And I like what Robert,
mate, you're, like I said to you the other week, there's definitely, I mean, I've been watching tonight, mate. It's been brilliant, by the way. 40 people, mate. 40 people watching live at one point. Fantastic.
I'm
there's
really
traction
pleased
there, Chris. There's traction there.
Yeah, it's really moving along, and the thing is that tonight, as I say, it's an open house, and it's an experiment, and there's a couple of other people that may be coming on as well to join us.
Well, I said I'll support you, mate, any way I can, and I'm
that's very kind, much appreciated. Thank you,
mate. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your work. I appreciate the fact that you're an open-minded chap. Who's got a peculiar sense of humour, which I think people, mate, it's a bit like mould. It grows on you, your sense of humour.
Or a growth.
Mate, I was confused the first time we were on. Half the time I missed the joke, or you've got a very dry sense of humour, mate, but it's beautiful. Don't change, please.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's an endearment about you, Chris. That's the point I'm making, mate. And people will, like I say, they find you endearing, and you provide a platform for people, idiots like me, but other people who've got real experience and have done things, So
it's very, very kind.
Long
Thanks.
may it
Likewise, Chris.
No, mate, there's the buttering up finished. I'll stop now. But seriously, mate, it's nice to see.
Bobs are in the post, are they? They're in the post.
Mate, more spider plants. That'll do. Oh, I'll tell you what. While you're there,
got the spider plant.
Here. They're in temporary accommodation. Yeah,
Jesus, they're coming on a bit,
mate. Just to get them rooted, but they're all
They've all survived.
Mate, they're perfect. Mate, you spent a lot of time preparing them, mate. There was a lot of thought and attention went into those being packaged. I appreciate that. But yeah, they were fine.
I was hoping there wouldn't spust and dribble outside because a lot of
Mate,
moisture.
not a spot of drippage, and they like I say, they're doing really well. They're doing really well. So thank you.
Oh, I'm delighted because I thought, well, I sent 4 because the time that I thought there might be a delay in the post, but they got there the next day.
Yeah,
That's
next day, and they were in soil by 5 o'clock in the evening, mate.
Brilliant.
So I got back from work, and that was the first thing I did. I saw them there, and again, thank you, kind sir, for the book as well. I'm currently halfway through a book on Charles Manson that's about that thick. So once I get through that, then that'll be my next one, mate.
Because have you seen that picture of Trump? Someone's drawn an artist of Trump, and people think it's Jesus over Trump directing him, you see. Right. And when you look very carefully, it's Charles Manson.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be about right, wouldn't it?
It was a very clever artist that's done that. You look at it carefully.
Yeah, there's been some good memes going around recently.
Yeah.
That one I sent you the other day, I snaffled that off the chat on Richie Allen. I saw that on there, and I just thought that was brilliant.
I liked it. Thanks.
I sent you something tonight as well via email. A little musical treat for you, celebrating a recent passing of an individual that
I didn't mention that. You've got me choked now.
Yeah, man. I was in bits. Poor
I'm breaking up. I can't stop the tears of joy. Dr. Kissinger.
Devastating.
I know. When I heard the news, I collapsed with laughter.
Mate,
I don't like to hear the death of anybody, but he was an evil man.
Sorry, Chris.
It's all right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk across you, mate. I was upset about Shane McGowan.
Yes.
Because that man was a musical genius, no doubt. And, we've got a lot to be grateful to him for. But Mr. Kissinger, no.
Well, he was the pimple on the arsehole of society, Kissinger.
Yeah, mate, he's not. I mean, like, how many millions of dead people are there because of Mr. Kissinger? I mean, Cambodia, Laos, Timor, Vietnam. The fact now that everything in the world's made in China. All these things we have to thank Mr. Kissinger for.
And also, he is if you see the film The Third Man, when they're on that Ferris wheel and Orson Welles, who acts the part of a psycho, opens that door. He says, "Look at those people down there, ants, aren't they? Would it matter if one of them died?" And that's it. And if you could earn £20,000 if one of them died, would it matter to you? We've got somebody else coming on the chat room.
Ding dong.
And what we're going to actually talk about is earthing.
Yeah.
Earthing.
Grounding? Is that the same?
Grounding. That's right. But we've got to say good evening to our third guest or second guest. Hey. It's Wayne. Hello, Wayne. Yeah, very nice hat you've got there.
Let's get the tech on.
And here he goes. He's looking down. No, is his cat died or something? No.
There he is. Hello, mate.
He's looking down at the comments, I think, isn't he? No. What's he doing there?
He's in.
He's in.
Wayne.
Hello, Wayne. No. Is he trying to bring? I like your hat. I like his pork pie
hat. It's a good hat, isn't it? That is.
It's a nice hat. That is.
You need to pedal a bit faster, Wayne. Speed the internet up.
Yeah, put an incentive in front of the guinea pig that's running on hamster on the wheel. You need to speed up a bit, There he
Chris, just quickly, mate. We're on about 32% battery on this iPad, so I will be a half hour, mate, and then I will have.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, mate.
Yeah.
Yes. How are you doing?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hang on, shall we all just say, "Are you there, Wayne?" Yes, I think we're getting. I think he's here.
Come on, Wayne's internet.
Here we go. Yes, that's it. Oh, you've got a better mag than I've got. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I had one of those, and the wheel fell off.
Can you? Hi, can you, Chris? Can you hear me?
I can just
I can
about.
hear
Tell me if
Ryan.
anyone can hear me, please.
Yes,
Yes, we can
mate.
hear you. Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You're there. Yes, we can hear you. Now, I know your computer suffers from John Hamerism, but don't worry, we got a cure.
Hammer.
Now, yes, a hammer.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Now, we're going to talk about grounding and a chap called Clint Ober.
Yeah, I'm on the.
Are you? The loo? No. On the computer? Is it guess the word? No. No.
I think the internet is struggling, isn't it?
That's right.
Can you hear us, Wayne?
Yes, I think he's got a bit of trouble there with the internet.
Definitely.
Can
you hear me?
Well, yeah, we can hear you. Don't worry. We can hear you. We can see you. And we can see you drinking your mixture of, I think it's magic mushrooms in the mug. So there we go. So here we go. Or
right.
Maybe your computer's on a magic mushrooms. That could be I think that's the problem. The computer's on the magic mushrooms.
By the way,
is it your Fox mug? You're being a bit foxy there, aren't you?
Nice.
And this is my Chris mug.
You like my mug?
I haven't got a mug. Got no drink.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Very nice too. But we was talking about
that's my Fox mug.
Clint Ober and grounding mats. And apparently, when we got to the reason there is so much illness around, well, I think I know there's sort of there's a lot of illness because of that, but there's also what you said was quite interesting, is that people used to wear leather shoes, and leather helps you to ground. Wild animals don't go down with nasty diseases, which we're not allowed to mention on here because of the algorithms, but it's because they earth, and it's something to do with the planet Earth and magnetism. And what this chap has found out in America, if you have an earthing mat and it's plugged into just the earth socket of a plug and it goes down to earth and it's pure, it will help you if you've got ailments, not to make them worse, but to make them better. Because apparently the way it works, I'm being a bit clumsy while I'm explaining it now, and he would be able to explain it better. The earth natural magnetism helps you to fight off nasty things. And there's rocks that give off magnetism in the West Country. And in America, the Indians used to rub their backs up against rocks to heal them. And we used to walk around barefoot. So we was in touch with the earth. And a lot of these tribes around the world are very fit and healthy. Why? Because they're earthing. And in 1960, they invented synthetic soles for shoes, and people went into trainers. They didn't wear leather boots, didn't wear leather footwear. And since then, people have been getting sicker and sicker and sicker. There are other reasons which we can't or are not allowed to go into, but that's the basis of it. And I'm actually looking at this, and I'm hoping to get a lady on here to talk about it. She's a bit of an expert on it. And I'm hoping I'm going to ask her, would you like to come on our show? Not exactly those like that. And she might say, no, sod off. You know, or you never know, she might come on, I don't know. But this is, I want to sort of get her, drag her on here, kicking and screaming, to talk about this earthing. It's a very fascinating subject. And they found that people that got things like arthritis, what's that other one that, I can't think what it is. But doctors dismiss it. They say, oh, it's in the mind.
Is it ME?
ME, yes, ME. It helps to cure that as well.
Right.
And I can understand it. It's logical. Now, you're touching the earth, Chris, during the day. You're earthing.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't feel well, put your hands into a cold water tap. And that, because that's coming from the earth, that will help to rejuvenate you. And this fellow was saying that he first got inklings that there was something wrong. He said he's American. He went to an Indian reservation, and the woman there, the wise woman, said, "Take your shoes off; they'll make you sick." And he noticed all the children running around barefoot, and this was in about the early '60s. And he took his shoes off, and he then thought, "Well, there's something funny in this," because when he was a child, he always ran around barefoot, and he was never ill.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you think about it, you've probably got synthetic soles on your shoes. I have. I think we all have. It's not leather, is it?
No, they're rubber, I think.
Yeah. Well, no, they're neoprene, which is a sort of a mixture, isn't it? It's not pure rubber.
Right.
Yeah, they're neoprene. I mean, I've got. Well, I think I've got, because I use barefoot shoes, and barefoot shoes are flat. There's no heel on them, and because your toes should spread as you walk, and but this is the thing. I mean, I've got what's it called, Morton's toe. It's very common. It's if you've got Viking ancestry, because it was prone in Vikings, it's a genetic thing, and that is your big toe is shorter than the toe next to it.
Yeah.
And you're very prone to getting bunions, which I've got.
Right.
And Robert's got bunion as well, and he's got Morton's toe, and part of his ancestry is Portuguese. And I said it must go back to the Vikings as well, so he's got it as well. So it's a very common problem, but you've got to get your gait, the way you walk, better. And of course, this earthing is all going in that sort of direction. Anyway, over to you, Wayne. We can just about see you. You was going to talk about perception tonight. Wayne, can you hear us?
I think Wayne's got internet issues, bless him.
Yes, I think I don't think I think your
hearing me?
computer's dropped. Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Intermittently, mate. Yeah.
Yes. Well, look, shall we, as Wayne's trying to get his internet issue.
What, is it breaking up?
No, it's not breaking up.
What do you want me to try? I can phone you. I can try logging out. I can try going back into.
We can hear you. It's perfectly okay.
I think he's dropping out, mate. I think he's in and out.
Yeah, it might be better to reboot.
Yeah, just try and reconnect, Wayne.
Or best to open the window and reboot it out the bleeding window. That's what I've told John to do. You know, just
poor Wayne. He has some bad internet round his way, doesn't he?
I don't know what it is. I think it's about London and Scarborough that has bad internet connections. I mean, I was on talking to Professor Moss, and her internet connection is the pits. It's awful.
Right.
Miles' internet is not that good, and he's on the outskirts of London. There's something about London and the internet. I don't know.
Who knows, mate? Who knows? Yeah. Enjoy the internet while we can. That's what I say.
Well, that's it. And tune in and drop out, man.
Spot on.
It's hereditous get booked.
Anyway, shall we have I think they're hereditous.
Yes. Now, our other guest, Nathan Lucius, it's been a pleasure, guys, but something has come up. What was it? Us talking about Dr. Kissinger made you feel sick. You know, Dr. Kissinger has come up. I will catch up with. Hey!
Privileged to have been on while it happened.
Hey,
what are we?
Brilliant.
An hour and 8 minutes. That's not a late one.
Right,
Nathan,
Robert,
it was great, mate. It was a great show last week. So it was good to catch up with you tonight, mate. It's you'll have Nathan on again, I take it, Chris.
Oh yes, he's definitely coming on.
Yeah, definitely, mate. That was good crack.
And we got here. This is Robert. Hello, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
I personally wear leather shoes and always will. There's a thought that has just come to mind that a lot of performers go barefoot when they perform. Really, Jerry Marotta, drummer for Peter Gabriel, does this, and also Sandy Shaw. She used to be barefoot.
I remember the South African athlete Sola Budd. She ran barefoot, didn't she, in the Olympics?
Yes.
for
Yes,
England or for the UK, didn't she?
that's right.
She was granted citizenship within 5 days of arriving here, I think.
That was
Just
amazing, wasn't it? Yes, yes.
yeah,
But
amazing what they can achieve when they want to.
well, I go barefoot in the summer, not in the winter.
My wife
And
does. Yeah, my
yeah,
wife will walk around the back garden barefoot in the summer.
and
I'm not so confident with it as
it's weird.
as what you guys, you people are.
Well, I knocked my toe, and then I got a bunion after that.
Yeah,
I
I
went,
probably should
"Oh,
try. It would
oh."
be helpful, wouldn't it? Like you say, grounding is important.
You walk
It's having
slow.
getting back to source and nature and what we were supposed to be. Because this isn't what we were supposed to be. Living in a cement and wood box.
Hmm.
You know, I think somebody mentioned it previously on your show, mate, where I think that the whole idea was that we travelled to different parts of where we were for different seasons,
I
so that
agree.
we wouldn't be in a climate this cold in the winter. We'd have moved further south now.
Yeah.
We would be somewhere warmer, and then we would probably come back in the summer to a climate like this because it would be, more tolerable. So this definitely wasn't what we were intended for, my friend. No way.
I agree with you because I don't think this is not a natural climate for us. I don't think it's a natural climate for anybody really.
It's not.
And they reckon the perfect climate for us is Mediterranean. And there's a ring that goes around the world which incorporates, I think it's Japan, West Indies, not all of Japan, part of Japan, West Indies, Mediterranean, a few other places where people live to over 100.
Right.
Because it's a perfect climate for humans.
I know
Not
the
hot,
Mediterranean. The Mediterraneans. I mean, there's all sorts of things though that they do better. Like they're better at taking care of family as well in those areas, mate. I think perhaps karma comes into play as well as,
Italians. Italy is noted for care for their families.
Spain as well, mate. I've spent a lot of time in Spain. The Spanish are lovely. They all eat dinner together at about 11 o'clock at night, and there's like 12, 15, 20 of them around a table. Very hospitable people, very friendly. But they're being decimated, aren't they, by the fact that they're not individual countries anymore. They're now bought into this one super state, and it's not. Yeah, they'll drum that out of them, Chris.
Oh, they will. Anyway, I think that Wayne is back, and he's
Hey,
moving on. Hey, we get a better picture, isn't it?
that's a bit better, Wayne. That looks like you might be with us.
Are you with us? Are you all with us? Can you hear us?
Is there anybody there?
Is there anybody there? No, I don't think there is. He's perhaps you could do semaphore. So good.
Could try semaphore.
Yeah. What about that? No.
Oh,
I don't think he's computer right.
It's frustrating.
It is, isn't it?
It's.
Now it says here. Well, Haji has said here. What's it? No, sorry, not Haji. Dan MC says, love walking in grass barefoot, but I don't like standing on slugs. No, I don't like standing on dog shit, actually.
I was just about to say, there's far worse in my garden, Dan. I've got 4 dogs. It's quite easy to miss one when you do the rounds of picking them up. So
that's right.
That's the main hazard around here, mate. It's not slugs.
Yes. Well, did you know that what we got here? Was it if I ran barefoot and naked up the park, I'll get arrested?
You would, unfortunately, mate. Yeah.
Was it? My name is Fred Kanakapan. I walk around I walk around the town. Sometimes with my trousers up, and sometimes when they're down. When they're up, and when they're down, I get arrested. That was a Spike Milligan one. But
that's genius, mate. I like that.
Hello, who's this? Oh, it's Wayne. Wayne is phoning me. Okay. So let's answer it.
Do it.
Hello, Wayne. Hello, Wayne. We've tried semaphore and we've tried.
Are you on, Wayne? Can we hear you now? No, we can't.
Hang on.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Do you want to try?
I'll try.
want to try like this?
Yeah, we could do, but you got to turn your sound off because we're going to get terrible feedback. So turn your sound off, turn your speaker off on your computer, and just leave it on here. Oh, that's good. Thanks, mate. And I think that we'll be able to hear it. That's better. Now I'm holding it. This is Wayne. Now I know it looks like a smartphone, but just imagine it. Just use your imagination, okay? So that's Wayne.
Or you can just look at the picture to the
that's
right.
right. He's lost a bit of weight, isn't he? You know, I mean. But now we're talking about barefoot, and I actually walk around barefoot, and I actually went around and posted a letter a couple of summers ago and forgot to put my shoes on. I was walking halfway around. I thought, hang on, but you walk slower because you're washing the ground all the time. Yeah. You just get looking at the ground. It's a bit of, when you first do it, it's very weird, but after a while you get so used to it. But it takes a long time for your feet to get hardened up. It takes about a month or two. And Dr. Miles Fleetwood, the man with a broken wrist, now he had to put acupuncture needles into my feet when I wasn't very well, and he's doing everything to take my mind off of it, because some people don't like it. And he went and put it in, and he was quite surprised. I didn't jump at it because my feet, the soles of my feet, like old leather. Sort of. And he went, oh. So I shove it in. It's all right. And it went, But anyway, Wayne, you was going to say something about what was you going to say about? Oh yes, about perception.
Yeah, because I was wondering if you'd moved on, but we were talking about this earlier on, weren't we? And I think I was listening to you whilst I was listening to you earlier while I was getting ready to give you a call, and I'm not sure if you mentioned perception yet or not, but I know it was in the write-up, wasn't it?
Yes.
I actually looked up a couple of definitions of perception, which I thought were quite interesting. One said a belief, the Oxford Dictionary was a belief or opinion often held by many people and based on how things seem. And the other one was the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Because I read that and I thought to myself, well, when I read those definitions, it reminded me of something in the Bible which he said more than once. There was a lot of pearls of wisdom and spiritual knowledge in the Bible. And in the Bible, in Mark and in Romans as well, it says, you will be ever hearing but never understanding, ever seeing but never perceiving. So to me, I think perceiving, I think what most people do, and what most people have been doing over the last 4 years, I don't know how you feel about this, I think people, they're seeing things on a surface level, aren't they? People hear things and they see things on a surface level. But I think very few people actually stop to think about things. And I think very few people actually perceive things. The only senses that they're using, most people think, to decipher things are their natural or their 5 senses, rather than listening to their intuition. And I think even when it comes to the 5 senses, I think most people are still just looking at things, just a cursory look at things and letting information come in, but they're not really thinking about things. So so I thought that was quite apt. So people aren't hearing, but they're not really listening, and they're just giving a cursory look at things, but they're not really thinking and they're not really perceiving. I think using their senses to decipher information. What do you think about that? Yeah,
very good point. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty valid point, mate. I think a lot of people, especially in this sort of arena, if you want to call it that, where people are looking for answers. A lot of people want to take on information. They want to know, but that's as far as they seem to want to go with it. No, not many people really are looking for solutions. I think people can see, but maybe they can't really see, because if you could see where this is going, you'd be looking to find a way to make it stop. I think that's all you'd really be focused on, is how can we stop this from going where it's going to go. So I think a lot of people, like you say, mate, a lot of people take the information on board. They know it, maybe don't fully comprehend what it means. There's definitely a lot of that. And the other thing is as well, Wayne, people's perceptions are different, aren't they, mate? If you have a car accident and you've got 10 witnesses, you'll get 10 completely different statements, won't you, saying what happened. So yeah,
absolutely. Can I just say before I forget? I agree with I agree entirely with what you just said. But I was thinking along the lines more of the majority of the population who don't look any further than what they're getting on the news broadcast or from the mainstream media. I was thinking more along those lines.
They're not interested, though, are they, mate? Most of them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
they're just
I know.
straight off what they're told off the mainstream media without actually stopping and going and thinking about things. So it worked with the so-called truth movement as well. But I was thinking more along the lines of the majority.
I'm with you.
As a whole. Understand what I mean?
Yeah, totally, mate. I'm with you. Just don't think I'm being rude. I've just got to shut this door.
Well, I think it's like they're like a ship, a rudderless ship on an ocean of lies. That's really what's happening. That they are a rudderless ship on an ocean of lies.
Chris, I don't think they're bothered though. I think a lot of them they're not interested. They don't want to know. Their ignorance is bliss, mate, for a lot of people.
I agree with you.
It really is.
I mean, sorry, carry on, Chris. Sorry.
No, that was it, mate. That was my point. They just don't want to know, mate. They in their heads they've got far more important things to think about.
Well, I've got to be careful what I say, but it's like the NHS. To me, it's a religion, nothing more, nothing less. People worship it, whereas it's I don't know. It's an emotional thing. But
I get what you're saying, mate. I totally get what you're saying. Yeah,
we've got to be a bit careful, because up to the 30th of December, I've got to be really careful, because
you're on the naughty step, Chris.
I'm on the naughty step.
That means we're on the naughty step on Christmas Day, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We're still got to be a bit careful, because this is going to be. There are going to be several guests on Christmas Day as well, so that's going to be fun, isn't it?
Good crack, mate. Good crack.
Yeah. And
Wayne.
Sorry.
No, go for it, Chris. Sorry, let's go for it.
No, I was going to say is that Robert has come in because I did a Spike Milligan trivia. My old stand in the park gathering takes place at Stephen's house, I think that is, in Finchley, North London. Spike's favourite park.
You are a depth of knowledge, Mr. Dorr. You really are. There's a lot buried in your mind, isn't there? I love it when you dig out little snippets like that.
And would you like to hear? Hang on, he's got another one here. He says, "Hang on, where is it now?"
I think you just had it, mate.
I just Inky Stevens. That's it. He was left. Spike's favourite part, left in his trust by Inky Stevens. And would you like to hear a Spike Milligan rhyme from Silly Rhymes? Maverick prowls had rumbling bells that rumbled through the night. It shook the bedrooms all around and gave the folks a fright. The doctor called, he was appalled, when through his stethoscope heard the sound of baying hounds and smelt the artery smell of smoke. Is there a cure? The higher the fewer, the learned doctor said. Then stood poor Maverick upside down and stood him on his head. And so, my friends, this is the end, a warning to the few. Beware of doctors till the end, or they'll get rid of you. That's Spike Milligan.
That's good.
I learned that when I was a kid. I still remember it. Yes, pointless things you learn when you're a child. All the other kids were learning algebra and that, and I was learning Spike Milligan's silly verse.
More useful than algebra, mate. We had years of algebra at school. I've yet to find a single use for it since I left school. Not one. What a waste of time that was.
Oh, a total waste of time.
Total waste of time.
Now, we got here a question. We said, Chris, is Father Christmas coming on the big day? No, he's just breathing heavy on that day. Sorry.
I shouldn't think he'll have the energy, Stephen.
No,
Not
no.
after his busy night the night
I've
before.
got a complaint, Chris.
What's that?
You didn't tell me you didn't tell me you'd moved the green room into the outside into your garden.
No.
You keep me outside in the garden. That's why I had to, put my scarf and my hat on.
Wow, it's been, it's a bit warmer now. It's been bloody cold, isn't it? It's warmed up a bit now.
It's been better today, mate. We've had a bit of rain this morning, and this afternoon's been dry. It's a lot warmer. Yeah, it's been all right here, mate. I managed to get a full day in today, so I'm happy with that. Listen, Chris, I'm gonna duck out in about 2 or 3 minutes because I'm getting down to 15% battery, and I don't want to return this to my wife completely dead because then she won't let me play again next time. So, I'll give you another 2 or 3 minutes, mate. And then I am going to bow out and I'm going to let Wayne have the floor because A, Wayne's more interesting than me. And B, like I say, if I give her the iPad back with no battery, she won't let me play again next time. So,
oh well.
Nice to finally speak to you, Chris, because
you too, mate. We'll
on the online we spoke on Richie's side.
Yeah, mate, it's always good to connect with people. And listen, mate, I'm sure at some point we'll do one of these, a proper one. Where we're on together. I'm sure it'll happen. You're pretty regular, I'm pretty regular, so we'll just leave it to Fockham Hall to sort it out, and I'm sure it'll happen at some point, mate. Guys, look, Wayne, you crack in and take the floor, mate. Chris, always a pleasure, mate. You know that, and keep up the good work, my friend.
Thank you very much.
And make sure you hit that like button, everybody watching, and I'll be back in the chat anyway now, mate. So I'll be about.
Smashing.
And I'll look forward to hear what Wayne's got to say.
Good night, Chris.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right. Wayne, we were talking about, I must, before we go any further, I must say after this Father Christmas joke, Father Christmas comes down the chimney one day and there's this beautiful, gorgeous woman, stark naked there. And she said, will you spend some time with me? He said, no, I've got to deliver all these presents around. And she said, well, just a little bit of, have a mince pie. He said, well, have a mince pie. But he said, I'll have to spend some time with you now because I can't get back up the chimney. No, it's a bit crude, that joke, isn't it? Anyway, on we go. So now you were saying about perception, fear, and change of because we were talking earlier on the phone, Wayne, that we're going to do a show where you're going to do some tarot readings and things like that. It's still on planning stage, and we're also looking at paradigm shift, how you can change your perception of things, of the way you are and the way you present yourself to the world, and I've often thought that, I mean, if you're negative will come back, and if you're positive, hopefully positive will come back. So that's the way we're looking at it. But you were saying something rather interesting on the phone about what you've discovered. I mean, you were saying about you've looked up what was it now? Oh dear, about hang on. Because as you was talking, you see, I was chomping away at the sandwich side.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't have bread now. What I do, I have one of these, what do you call it? Wraps.
Yeah.
I suppose it's bread in a way, but
I've actually got a chicken wrap from the co-op, which I'm going to enjoy after this.
Oh, very nice too. Very nice. Yes.
I can't remember specifically what you're referring to, but we were talking about. You just mentioned. Go ahead, and you mentioned fear, didn't you?
Fear, yes. Fear is a marvelous weapon.
On the phone to me, and you just mentioned it just then, didn't you?
Yes.
Ago. On Richie's show, he was interviewing. Well, he wasn't interviewing. He was playing a clip. I don't know who it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was someone in the government or a government spokesperson who was basically talking about the color-coded warning system, which they're rolling out for to warn us about climate change and extreme weather.
Oh, blimey.
Color-coded warning system. And he was saying, "Oh, don't worry about it because we're not trying to alarm and frighten people." And we were saying, weren't we, that that's obviously what they're trying to do. They're trying to use fear to alarm people and to create compliance, aren't they? Because fear is a great motivator, and they've been doing that as regards climate change for years. And they've done it over the last 4 years as regards the
yes. What's it?
Craig? Craig? Why am I calling you Craig?
You could call me Craig. Call me anything you like. Call me anything you like, providing it's not too late for me dinner. So there we go.
Yeah. So over the last 4 years, in general, they've just been pumping out the fear, haven't they? Because fear is this. I don't know if you heard of an author called Alistair MacLean from who was
When 8 Bells Toll.
He was a thriller writer.
Yes.
But he wrote a book called Fear is the Key. And he used that expression a couple of times when he was being interviewed about his books. Fear is the key. And that keeps coming back to me over the last 4 years, because without fear, this whole totalitarian agenda, I think, is impossible to implement. What do you think about? What do you think, Chris?
Well, I think you're spot on. We was talking about something earlier that we can't talk about on YouTube. But,
okay, I remember now.
Yeah, and there's a film. If you'd like to go onto my Telegram channel, it's not on Facebook, but it's on my channel Telegram, and I'll just put my Telegram channel. Where is it? Here it is, just there, and it's also beneath my name here. That explains more about the Illuminati and that, but we cannot put it on YouTube. We can't put it on Facebook. It's only on Telegram. I'll actually put it on. So if you'd like to go look on there, that I have sat there, my jaw hit the floor. And when Wayne phoned this afternoon, we started talking about this subject, and Wayne knew all about it. He knew about it before myself, but I didn't know fully about it, and it really made my jaw drop. I've never seen a film like it. It's not on YouTube. I don't know where it's from, but it was sent, and it's worth looking at. But again, we can't touch that subject, can't go anywhere near it, and it's nothing to do with discrimination for anybody. It's because as I've always said, I've got nothing against anybody. All I am against is predatory psychopaths. That's what I'm against. And I think that it actually, I find it's very liberating, this film, because you know the true story. There's a lot of innocent people that's being blamed for things, and it's not them. So let's put it that way. So please go on to the Telegram channel, and you'll see that film on there, nowhere else. So that's it. And the other thing you're saying, I mean, you did a tarot reading for me, and I was very, very impressed with it. It was very interesting, and it was very thorough, and I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, you know, I've seen these sort of old ears, sort of, hey, I'll put the cards out and look at the tea leaves and that, but this was very scientific and very, very technical, very good. And we're looking at that as well, because I think that we're not against anybody's religions or faith or anything like that. And I think that it's good to be open-minded about everything, really. So, you know, I know that a lot of people with religious faiths are against things like tarot cards and that, but I believe in being open-minded, you know. I mean, as long as it's not full-on devil worship or anything like that. No, we know what that is. But these type of things have been done for millennia, I think. I don't know if you know more about it, Wayne, but I think it goes way, 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 way back before Christianity. It's absolutely years old, you know.
What's that?
Things like tarot and things like people, soothsayers, and that goes way back long before Christianity and organized religion. It goes back to a very different time on Earth.
Ancient Egypt, if not beyond.
Yes. I mean, we look on them as primitive, but they weren't that primitive.
Not specifically ancient Egypt, but they used to do this thing, as I said, where you used to put different images on stone pillars and throw sticks on the ground to see where the sticks were pointing towards which image. They've done different things have been done over the centuries, haven't they?
What about tea leaves? I mean, that was the old gypsies thing, wasn't it? Read your tea leaves. Have you heard?
Yeah, I worked with someone who did tea leaves. She was a Turkish lady. I can't remember if she was doing. I think she was doing. She was deaf. I said to you she might be doing coffee leaves, so that I don't know if there's any such thing as coffee leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she was a Turkish lady, and she was doing tea leaves, tea leaf readings at a show that I did. Yeah,
that's interesting. And now we've got a question here. Stephen Truthseeker, who's also on Telegram, I hasten to add, has said, "Does Wayne do healing?" So, do you do healing?
I used to have a holistic centre,
mm-hmm.
and I rented space to someone. I rented space to people who were doing healing. Myself, I've done a little bit, but I've only dabbled in basically sending out energy to heal people. So I've done a little, but I wouldn't say it was my field. But I do know that I've done healing on myself using visualization and different processes. I think I mentioned. Did I mention to you about dolls? How dolls can be used for things like dolls can be used for healing purposes as well as.
I didn't know that. I know that some people stick pins in them, and.
So I've used things like dolls to heal people and told people how to do that, and I've used dolls to heal myself, and I've done So
I didn't know that.
So that's the extent of that.
Because some dolls are very. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but some dolls have got very mysterious, can be haunted. There's some creepy dolls around, isn't there, that are really weird. But Stephen Truthseeker said, my name did tea leaves. That's
all right.
Interesting. And then we got Herodotus Getfoot says, Jesus is okay, knew how to heal. Yes. Well, he was sort of, I think that these people in history are like signposts. They direct people into different areas. And I think the way I look at it, I mean, I have not got a religious faith as such, but I believe there's an energy, but I don't know what that energy is. I haven't got the foggiest idea what it is, but I respect it. But I do believe there's an energy, and that's as a positive and there's a negative. And the more I find out, the more I realise I don't know. This is the thing. The more you discover, and if the world was run by teenagers, because when I was a teenager, I think when everyone's a teenager, you knew everything, but you realise pretty quickly you don't know everything, because the world is very simplistic in those years. But I think that the most important thing in life is two things. What Chris said, he thinks love is the most important thing in life, but also, and this was the other week, forgiveness. Now, I think you can forgive, not necessarily forget, but forgive, because there's some people that you've got to be careful of. For example, going back to the old crocodile analogy, if you've got a pet crocodile and it snaps at you, and it rips your jumper or something, the crocodile doesn't know any different, but you keep away from that crocodile so he doesn't snap at your jumper again. And I think it's the same with some people. You can forgive them, but you keep away from them because they're dangerous. And I think that is sort of a thing that, that's the main thing. But I do believe that forgiveness in life, people that's dragged my name through the mud and things like that, I forgive them, yes, because they were acting out of, I think, ignorance in many ways. We all act out of ignorance. We do silly things occasionally, and I can feel sorry for people that have double-crossed me, been nasty to me.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a sarcastic or sort of way. I think it's what you put out, you get back. And I think that is the main thing. You put out positive, you get positive back, as we said at the beginning of this show. And if you get negative, you get negative back. Now, this is an interesting one. Stephen Truthseeker. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I've just jumped. I've missed one. Yes, spirits will attach to dolls, pictures, or anything with a face, and attach to tarot cards, crystals, etc. What do you think of that, Wayne?
Not necessarily. I'm not saying never happens, but not necessarily. I mean, if he means that the negative energy can attach to it, negative energy can attach to anything. You know, it's all.
It can attach to objects, can't it?
It's all to do with the intent, as we spoke about before. You know, if you imagine a doll is yourself or another person, and you're sending out healing energy towards that doll, that can only have a positive effect.
Do you think that objects, though, can be cursed? Because I think they can be, because my parents bought something years ago, before I was born, I think, and everything went wrong, and they got rid of it, and everything was okay afterwards. There was something about this, whatever it was, and a very negative energy about it.
Yeah, you can deliberately, you know, so a person can deliberately put negative energy into an object and give it as a present. That's one way of doing it.
Well,
or somebody may just there may just be an object which has got loads of negative energy naturally attached to it, and it's inadvertently, and it's not deliberate, but you inadvertently getting negative energy off that object.
I can see your point. We've got another one here, and we got here. Hang on, we got Hatchy says, anyone remember David Bellamy, a proper scientist, a geographic specialist? Yes, I remember David Bellamy. He spoke like this, didn't he?
Just about, yeah.
Yes, and he made his fame with the Torrey Canyon in 1967 because what happened was this oil tanker went ashore, was accidentally washed ashore off the coast of Cornwall and was leaking oil, and he was one of very few scientists that could do diving. He was a diver in those days and dived down onto it, but they bombed it in the end and blew it up. And that's the Torrey Canyon. Now we've got here tarot cards have protection built in them also into them. How do you feel about that one, Wayne?
Certainly, I can see that. I mean, certainly, again, if you're doing, if you're using the cards with good intention, and certainly if you had a deck which you've had for a long time, a lot of your own energy going into that. So yeah, I can see that. And talking of energy actually naturally being in objects, the Bible, I believe, is it doesn't matter if somebody's a Christian, doesn't matter what they believe. The way energy works with things like this is, for example, the Bible. There's energy which has gone into that over the centuries. Whenever anybody's read it, whenever anyone's praying, whenever anyone's reading it, that's all connecting into an energy, which is producing a like energy. And Bibles naturally contain a positive energy. I think just by having it there. I think it's the same as when if somebody recites, like I was talking about, I mentioned the 91st Psalm, didn't I?
Yes.
For the protection. You know, one of the reasons the 91st Psalm is so powerful is because people have used it for protection for centuries. So every time anyone uses that psalm anywhere in the world for protection, that's adding another layer of energy onto that psalm and onto the meaning of that psalm. So that psalm actually contains energy within itself, if that makes sense. Now,
Yes.
just say before I forget, Chris, just to cap off what we were saying about fear and you know, and how we're manipulated, because we're going to do a future show, aren't we? Which is probably going to be sometime next year now.
It's going to be recorded. I think it's recorded, isn't it? We're going to do a recorded show.
This one, I don't know if we're going to pre-record it or not.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But the show is going to be on state manipulation and you know, using all different things and using the use of fear. We're going to even show some evidence and some documents where government units have actually been speaking about, you know, how they manipulate the public and talking about how they want to use fear to manipulate the public. So we're actually going to show some of the evidence for that in a special program.
Oh, fantastic! And I think it might be a good idea, Chris. Not Chris, Wayne. If it sounds like we do one on that video that's actually on my Telegram channel on for BitChute, and then we just have little highlights of it on YouTube, because it would just be booted off. I'd be booted, and we just can't literally do it because of the censorship so high. But it would be okay on BitChute and Rumble and Odyssey. So we're going to do that as well. And of course, John Hamer will be back. But again, what we talk about, we can't do it on BitChute. It's a shame, but we just can't do it, you know. But Hachi has said, we got here, sorry, Chris the Gardener said Hachi, they went for Bellamy. Sorry, I do a Bellamy's sound, didn't they? He wouldn't drink the climate change Kool-Aid. Correct. Yes. No, but he was a proper scientist. He was very, very clever. And we got here. Oh crikey! Are they going Anunnaki? Hatchie and Buds live on a gypsy caravan park site. Yes, you never know. Now it says here, different layers of protection. Also, the cards themselves are protected. I think you've sort of said that in a different way, Stephen. But yes, that's interesting. And then Hatchie has come on and said, "Trust your instincts 100%, mate." Yes.
Yeah.
Mate,
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is your gut feeling, because I think 9 times out of 10 it's right. Gut feeling, it's more wise. I think your gut feeling is sometimes more wise than what's up there. I really do, you know. But
can I just sorry, were you going to say something?
No, it's okay. Carry on.
No, I've just I don't want to interrupt you. I've just got my eye on the time for it. I've just got my eye on the time.
Yeah, we've got a few minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah, I just made a brief note when you were talking about law of attraction. I just made a couple of brief notes just before I got through, Chris.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention also, because we're going to cover another show we're going to do. We're going to cover in depth, aren't we? Using the mind to attract things, the law of attraction,
yes,
all different things, a lot, you know, in that area. We're going to do that on a future show in some detail, and look at the best ways and the correct ways of actually using things like affirmations, visualizations, and how to do it properly, and different psychological tricks as well, which people can use to change their mood and change their emotions. So we're going to cover that whole area in a show which we're already working on, aren't we, Chris?
That's right. We're working on, and also what I've got planned coming up is if I'm hoping to go and see Dr. Miles Fleetwood on Wednesday to talk about future programming and things like that. That's if he's well enough. He's been quite ill recently. You know, he's got on his wrists. I think he's picked up some bug that's going around. So if he's in on Wednesday, I'm going to go over there. But whilst I'm there, I'm going to go in to a shop nearby and pick up some shungoi, because shungoi is a crystal which helps to block EMF waves. And we'll do a live experiment on here using shungoi. And this is what I'm hoping to do. There's a shop that actually sells it. But I'm going to go on in the shop with an EMF meter, because I know the people there, and put it next to a power outing and see whether it's proper shungoi. And that's the way you tell.
Because we're talking about the difference between lodestone and
that's right. That's right. Yes.
The difference between lodestone and shungoi.
That's right. And I've actually got a film on here. Now, hang on. And Stephen Trucy says he's going to mention shungoi. Shungoi. But there was, I can actually show it on here. We've got a few minutes. And it was on here some time ago. It's a very, very quick film. And I think it's something that needs to get, because you can get them shungoi to go on your smartphone or ordinary phone. If I can find it. It's taking a bit of time to find it. Where was it? It was on here some time ago.
Are you looking for a photograph?
Yeah, it was some. Just bear with me a few moments. It was. Oh, here it is. Right, this is the shungoi experiment. Okay.
Take the shungoi away. It goes up and down, doesn't it? It's variable, but it's pretty high. And I think you're pretty close to the shungoi. Wow. Well, that's way over 1,000. Put it back.
Right, watch this. Shungoi in front. 86. 04. 45. It went down to.
Yeah.
70.
Even like coming near to it.
Now that's what I did about a year ago. That's my hand. That's my meter that I've got there, which I test things with, EMF radiation and that. And that was quite convincing with shungoi, how it works. It really is. It's quite amazing stuff, you know. And Stephen says yes, and he uses shungoi, and he's got pendants, stickers and pendants, because it is a marvelous thing. And people used to armies, I think it was the Russian army a couple of 100 years ago, that used it to clean the water. They used shungoi to clean water with. It's a disinfectant. It's a marvelous stone, but it only comes from Russia, nowhere else. And there's a lot of fake Chinese stones out there, and that's why you get an EMF meter, which you can get off of, they're quite not that expensive. You can get them off of eBay, and you put the stone in front of it, and it drops. You know, it's real stuff. You know. Yeah. That's right. It is from Russia, Stephen Truth Seeker. Yeah. But it's only one place.
I mean, different stones and crystals, like colours, you know, they have different energies attached to them and can be used for different healing purposes or to attract different things into our lives. You know, we were talking about attraction, weren't we?
That's right.
You mentioned earlier, didn't you, Chris? Just one last thing, if I may. You mentioned, you were talking about how, you were saying about sending out positive thoughts to actually change the world situation which we were in, weren't you?
Yes.
Which of course I absolutely agree. But if I could just make the point that the way thoughts work within ourselves and within the planet as a whole is it's to do with ratio of negative thoughts against positive thoughts, or how strong one thought is against another thought. So within ourselves, if our predominant thoughts are more negative than positive, things will keep going down. If our predominant thoughts are more positive than negative, things will tend to improve. If we're about even in the middle, things in our lives will tend to stay the same, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Now on a planetary scale, I believe it works the same way. So the problem we have at the moment is that even though it's a relatively a small amount, a very small amount of people at the top of the tree who are pushing this negative agenda and this evil agenda, I think the problem which we have is that there are obviously thousands and thousands of people who are working for them, a lot of them in ignorance.
Yes.
And there's the population as a whole who are buying in to that agenda and being frightened by that agenda, and all of that is adding to the fear. So the problem we have is it's a relatively small amount of positive energy wanting to push in one direction, pushing against the mass of the energy which is pushing in the other direction. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, yeah. Yes. And I think that's a good note to sort of end on in a way, because we're coming up to our time now.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Wayne, for coming on tonight. It's much appreciated. And thank you, Chris the gardener, for coming on. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, mate. And thanks for all the support that people give us. It's very, very, very kind. And it is much appreciated. And I'll be back next week, same time, same place, 8 o'clock. And remember, whatever, please subscribe. And whatever happens, have a laugh.